Hey guys, it is Thursday afternoon. This post is going to go up on Friday, so I hope you guys have had an awesome week and got some good sleep and all that good stuff. I've had a much better week of sleep than I did last week. Last week was just not good as I was trying to fall asleep. So this week has been a lot better. A lot of that's just come from, I don't know if you guys do this, but I think about all the things I have to do the next day, which doesn't help you get to sleep. So this week has been much better as I've tried to totally surrender that thought process. So I hope you guys have had an awesome week. It's like in the 50s in New York, which is crazy. I have a big exam coming up next week on Wednesday, so much of this weekend will be spent studying. But it's a Super Bowl on Sunday, which is awesome. Nick and I are going to go to a Broadway show on Friday night, which is tonight by the time you see this video. So that'll be exciting. One of our friends is actually in the show, so we're going to go see that. And then just kind of have a good girls' night on Saturday. So I hope you guys have some fun things planned too. I usually work most Saturdays between natural clients and nursing, so I always look forward to Sundays when it is a little bit more restful in the morning time, even amidst some studying. So that's great. So anyways, I hope you guys had an awesome week. Look at the beginning of this post for the winner of the Vega giveaway, and they should be mailing you out that stuff this week. So I hope that you enjoy. All right, this week I think you guys will be very excited to hear about the topic of rebound weight gain. And so I think it's something that isn't talked about a lot. There's not a lot of it on the internet. And I think that it's a topic that I talk about a lot with clients. And so I'm going to talk about it as much as I can without actually conflicting with Nutshell, because that's unfair to paying clients, of course, but I think it's an important concept to understand because coming from our diet obsessed culture, right, that tells us to eat less and move more in order to lose weight, we find ourselves, a lot of women find themselves deep in the trenches of restrictive eating, but not really quite sure how to get out of it and what that looks like. And so I think an important thing to realize is, one, that your metabolism is damaged if you've had any history of restrictive eating. And I know that sounds like boost your metabolism, really markety, but that's like the best way that I can try to explain it is that when we've been restricting calories for a long period of time, or even a short period of time, our body is smart enough and it will start to compensate. And so what happens is that metabolism slows and our body finds a way to subsist off less energy. Oftentimes it shuts down our reproductive cycle, our reproductive system, which includes our menstrual cycle, in order to conserve some of that energy. But that's another topic, amenorrhea, or not getting your cycle. That's a problem, but we'll talk about that another time. But all that to say, our body is very smart, right? So it's meant to burn energy, and therefore the more we give it, the more it can burn through. The less we give it, the more efficient it becomes at conserving energy and burning through less while still maintaining life for you. So I think that's an important thing to realize. So if you have found yourself eating less and less, yet you're not losing weight, that's a problem. That's a red flag. Your metabolism is probably slow. So what happens, the more that we decrease our caloric intake, what will happen is that our body compensates, right? It's now in a stressful state because it's being restricted of energy, and therefore our stress hormones, which is mainly cortisol and adrenaline, start getting released from our hypothalamus, and our body is now in this constant fight or flight state because it's under nutritional stress all the time. Now, when those stress hormones are constantly being released, that puts our body in an energy storing state instead of an energy burning state. And therefore, we don't burn energy as efficiently as we could, as the body could. So therefore, it becomes harder and harder to maybe maintain a certain weight, or it becomes really hard to even lose weight. And sometimes we can even start gaining weight. And so, sorry, I had something in my throat that I was trying to swallow. So what happens is, okay, how do we get out of this cycle? What does that look like, and how do we recover from something like this? So I think that the first things first, one of the most important things that I tell clients is all is not lost. The body is amazingly resistant. It can go through a lot of crap that we put it through, and it can rebound and it can heal. People heal from cancer, from traumatic events, from car accidents, from broken bones all the time. Your metabolism can certainly heal itself too. And so, but it takes, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. And so as we talk about rebound weight gain, what that means is that I describe repairing your metabolism and getting your body back out of nutritional stress and into an energy burning state. I describe this as, it looks a lot like a bell curve that you were maybe, if you remember that from like high school statistics class. And so it looks like this. The bell curve just goes like that. I should probably have a little bit of a visual, but I don't. So it goes like this, right? And so what happens is that if we're restricting calories, we're oftentimes restricting calories. And what oftentimes happens is it starts to suppress our appetite hormones, which is ghrelin, which tells us we're hungry. Ghrelin, the gremlin, is how, like, I remember it, telling us we're hungry. And then leptin, which tells us that we're full. And so what happens is that when we're restricting calories, or we're not getting enough sleep, or we're exercising too much, or all these other factors can throw off our ghrelin and our leptin, and therefore we either become hungrier more and we don't recognize our fullness, which can happen if we're not getting enough sleep. Or if you're not eating enough, what happens is that ghrelin becomes suppressed. So now your hunger cues aren't even reliable anymore. So the concept of intuitive eating cannot apply to you anymore because your hunger hormones are off balance. So therefore, if you were to just listen to your hunger, you'd probably never eat. That's one of the huge signs that your metabolism isn't where it should be, is that you're not getting hunger signals, or you're barely getting hunger signals. One or the other. It's one of my first questions that I ask people. So ghrelin becomes suppressed, you're not feeling that hungry anymore. So what happens if oftentimes you're trying to restore your metabolism in order to eat enough, and I don't want to conflict too much with nutshell, but in order to eat enough, it's a frequency of eating, what you're eating, and how much you're eating are all three very important things when it comes to healing your metabolism. And so what can happen is that you often have to eat when you're not hungry. So if your metabolism is down here, right now your body is compensated energy because you haven't been giving it that much, and therefore it can subsist off less energy, becomes really efficient. That once you start eating more, your energy intake is up here, but your metabolism is still down here. So what happens is that you're eating more, so you're probably eating when you're not totally hungry, which is okay, that's needed. And so while you're eating enough, and your intake's up here, but your metabolism is still down here, there's this gap that is still present for the beginning period of time of this restoration phase. And so while that gap is closing, what happens sometimes in between that time of your metabolism reaching your intake is that you start to get some weight gain. And so this is kind of that in between, which is kind of the hardest part to getting out of this like history of restrictive eating or yo-yo dieting, is you do see a little bit of weight gain, call it rebound weight gain, while your body is healing, and while your metabolism is still sluggish, yet you're trying to increase your intake and get your metabolism higher. Your body might gain some weight during that time. Should not be drastically, like super drastic, 20, 30 pounds, but you are going to gain some weight. I always tell people it is so worth it. And it sucks, but I think during that, it sucks like in our minds, right? Because we live in this world that puts a lot of pressure to look a certain way, and weight gain can be a sign of being out of control, or maybe you're gluttonous, or maybe you don't take care of yourself, or we make it mean so much more than it actually means, rather than just saying, okay, so it's XYZ pounds. Who actually cares at the end of the day? You're still the same person, you still have the same soul, you still have the same heart. And so, but during that time, I think is where a lot of work can be done, just on a heart level. That's another conversation. But what happens is that our body needs a little bit of extra cushion. I describe it kind of like using a credit card, to where if you spend, so you've been restricting, you're going to have to pay off interest eventually. So it's not like you're paying off your credit card every month and your body doesn't there isn't some debt to be paid. And so what happens when we're trying to restore metabolism is you have to pay off the credit card and you also have to pay off the interest. And then after the interest is paid off, then you can just start paying down your monthly payment because you're not restricting anymore. So you're not accruing a ton of nutritional debt. So after that period and after our metabolisms heal, as long as we're taking care of ourselves in terms of adequate sleep, adequate nutrition, appropriate exercise, and managing stress, our bodies will settle into its natural set point, to this healthy, happy, sustainable weight that we were meant to be at all along. But there can be some rebound in between having a crappy metabolism because you've been under eating or on this yo-yo dieting or whatever it might be, and finding this kind of healthy, happy balance to where food is not the enemy anymore, where you can enjoy it, where your body is resilient, and where not like one day or a few food choices or not adhering to your strict food plan is going to throw your weight off. Because your metabolism is working efficiently, you're now burning energy all the time. And clients and people that I talk to are amazed at how much energy the body can actually burn through if we just give it food to burn through. So I'll talk about it in another video, the concept, because I get this question a lot of, okay, if the body can burn through a ton of energy, the more we give it, the more we burn, then how do people become overweight? And I think that is a super important question, and it's one I would love to address. But we're out of time for now. I hope that explains the concept of rebound weight gain. It's a hard stage to walk through, but I assure you it's worth it. It's temporary, and it won't be forever. So I hope that answers that. Remember, if you have a question about nutrition, life, nursing, anything, running, email me at robyncole, ROBYNCOALE @gmail.com, and I'll try to answer it as much as I can. Or as best as I can. All right, guys, have an awesome weekend. Do something great for yourself. Sleep in, cook some pancakes, go get a manicure, do something to take care of yourself, and just enjoy it. All right, bye, guys.